As a piano teacher with 30 students, I love introducing scales to my students as soon as possible. With this simple sticker method, I'm able to teach my students major scale patterns from the very first lesson. We cover keys C, G, D, A, E, and B, and the students love it. I know it could be kind of hard to envision how you would do this with early beginners, so stick around because I'm going to include some footage of one of my students working through this exercise live. The only supply that you'll really need to be able to use this method for teaching scales to your students is a set of sticky tabs. I've linked in the description below the set that I'm using and another set that I've also found to be helpful. I will say I like this one because it has 9 different colors, but it's not as thoroughly sticky as the other set is. So if you're willing to pay a little extra, you'll get tabs that really stick to the keys well. So as you can see, I've got this already set up for our C major scale. We use 2 tetrachords to make the major scale more obvious for kids, and I've used the blue tabs in the center so that I can easily instruct beginner pianists to put their thumbs on blue. Then I encourage them that since we have only 8 notes to play, but 10 fingers, we're not going to use our pinkies, and it's pretty easy to make a game of that, saying that the pinkies aren't invited or any other variety. But then you're ready to go. That is how a beginner pianist can play their C major scale right from the get-go. Then we'll go ahead and move this up for a G major pattern. As we set up for the G major pattern, you can see that I've got the green tabs on our tonic, and I'll add the blue tabs to the 4th and 5th note of the scale. Once again, you can instruct your pianist to put their thumb on blue. Depending on the age of the pianist, I find it can be very helpful to go ahead and put a color tab up on the black key. The pianist would put their thumbs on blue, and they're going to start with green again. And you're able to move through all of the patterns that way, each time setting up with the tonic, using your green tabs, and you can put your blue tabs on the 4th and 5th notes of the scale, and adding any orange tabs, if necessary, to the other keys. When I've taught this to some of my students who have been taking for a little while, they're able to understand the patterns and find the sound without using the orange tabs as a reminder at all. Here's our D pattern. And you'll see at the end of this video, I've included my hands working through all of the first 6 major scale patterns: C, G, D, A, E, and B. One of my favorite things about teaching these scale patterns with these sticky tabs and creating the 2 sets of tetrachords that create the full major scale is that it allows a super easy way for students to familiarize themselves with all of the black key notes and start memorizing those patterns before they're also adding in elements like fingerings and crossing under with their thumb. I have found that teaching my students this repetitive method of playing through all of the major sharp key patterns sets them up for total success when we go ahead and transition from these 2-hand tetrachord patterns into their major scale with just their right hand. And then that sets a great stage for adding the left hand scale in as well and being able to play both those hands together simultaneously. Now, I'm in the process of building a lot of resources to make available online, and one of the ones that I want to provide with this video is a set of music flashcards that show not only how to set up these color flashcards, but could also be used as a way to quiz your students on the scale patterns based off of how many black notes they're able to see for each one. So if you'd like a copy of those, be sure to check out the description below. I'll either have a way for you to get on my email list and download them for free, or I'll have a place where they're being sold. As I promised, here's some footage of one of my students working through this exercise live. Now, this student happens to be one of my guitar students, so we're just learning scales as a way for them to make sure they've got those patterns imprinted from a piano perspective, even as they're learning them on guitar too. For context, this student has worked through this exercise 1 or 2 times, but we're still in that early phase where every time the student works through it, it's a little bit new. Okay, this is our C pattern, and it is only going to have white notes in it. Thumbs go on blue. Good, set your other fingers up ready to play. And remember, we only have 8 notes, so you won't need your pinkies for any of them. You know what to do? Good, go back down the other way. Way to go. All right, our next pattern is going to be the G pattern. So I'm putting my green ones on G. Thumbs go on blue. Let's get that lined up. Okay, spread your fingers out to be ready, and I'll put an orange on the one that needs to be black. Good stretch. Yeah, way to go. Okay, we'll set up the next one. Our next pattern is D. You want to guess how many black notes it's going to have?
2.
Great. Oh, that's C. There you go. All right, let's go on blue. Get your other fingers ready to play. Go for it, whenever you're ready.
Oh, please, I did it wrong. I didn't
Try it again.
I didn't use any of the black keys. I need to set up my fingers for the black keys.
Good idea. Good job. You're going to go backwards.
Yes.
Good job. That's very accurate.
Wait, whoops. I need to do this.
Good adjustment.
Keep doing.
Got it. Okay, and for our E pattern, how many will it have?
4.
4 sharps. Good job. Oh, E would be an easy one for you to figure out without any clues. Oh no. Good job. All right, last pattern is our B pattern, and it will have all the black notes. And one of them happens to be under your thumb. You can put that right here on B. Okay, so thumbs still go on blue. So figure out how that would work. Good job. There you go. That's all of your pattern. Color tabs can be such a simple and effective way to overcome some of the early hurdles in teaching piano lessons when students haven't confidently learned to identify all the keyboard names. You might enjoy this resource that I have found. I'm able to use this simple color book in order to teach students everything ranging from finger numbers to hand position patterns. We do a lot of work with developing rhythm, and it's super effective because students, all the meanwhile, are able to play songs that they recognize from their first day of sitting down at the piano. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm using my education in my master's degree in piano pedagogy to create online video series that help teachers, students, and families love making music. One of the key ways that I do that is by finding systems that help solve common problems for piano teachers, students, and families, and then sharing them here online. I hope you'll take a minute to like or subscribe to my channel because it helps YouTube and the algorithm know that this video has been helpful for you and get it on the page for others. Here's a sample of all 6 of those patterns. For the sake of time, I'm going to be swapping whether it's blue or green on the tonic note. But especially if you're just getting used to this system, you may want to set up your scales where green is always the starting note. You'll notice for this B pattern that one of our black notes has a green sticker on it, and that's because the student's thumb does need to start on a black note. That's it. Thanks so much for joining.